You know we're fucked when every single Hassan video is titled something like, "We are all going to die." Hey everyone, Atlas here. Over the past few months, the Trump administration has been deporting hundreds of people to prison camps in El Salvador. The administration's deportations have ranged from undocumented immigrants accused of crimes to eventually deporting legal residents of the United States, even for things as simple as committing the thought crime of opposing the active genocide of the Palestinian people. And now Donald Trump is calling for U.S. citizens to be deported to camps in El Salvador. And that is absolutely terrifying.
You mentioned that you're open to deporting individuals that aren't foreign aliens but are criminals to El Salvador. Does that include potentially U.S. citizens, fully naturalized Americans?
I'm all for it because we can do things with the president for less money and have great security. No, if it's a homegrown criminal, I have no problem. Now, we're studying the laws right now. Pam is studying. If we can do that, that's good.
Now, obviously, it was horrific and terrifying when the Trump administration began mass deportations of undocumented immigrants and sent them to these camps. Undocumented immigrants deserve the exact same rights, social programs, freedom, and dignity as every U.S. citizen on account of the fact that they are, human beings. But the prospect of deporting American citizens for whatever crimes the American government accuses them of is especially scary because of its implications. Now, the American prison system is absolutely abysmal, there's no question about that, but at least there are certain protections and due processes that prisoners there have. The Eighth Amendment of the Constitution, for instance, which prohibits cruel and unusual punishment. El Salvador's Secot facility, on the other hand, is an absolutely massive prison camp with absolutely abhorrent conditions. Not only that, but the government of El Salvador is already in what is essentially a state of martial law, and even the most basic constitutional rights, like the right to counsel, have been suspended. It's like carting off ordinary people to Guantanamo Bay, which the Trump administration has already done, but except this time, it's U.S. citizens being carted off to a prison camp run by a foreign country with notorious human rights abuses. And when we deport these people to Secot, there's no guarantee we'll ever get them back. In El Salvador, you cannot rely on the Bill of Rights to protect you. There's no Eighth Amendment or Saul Goodman, attorney at law, to save you there. You are totally at the mercy of a totalitarian government with a leader who proudly labels himself a dictator, albeit the world's coolest one at that. He's lying, by the way. He's far from the coolest one. Hasn't even written a rap song. He doesn't even have a music video about him either. Well, okay, Atlas, but can he even get away with deporting American citizens in the first place? Well, that remains to be seen. Constitutional experts and legal scholars are saying absolutely not. There's no government provisions or constitutional basis for deporting legal citizens of the United States of America. Now, Trump says his administration will only pursue this policy if it can be done legally, but you would have to be a complete idiot to believe him. I mean, in his first term alone, he lied over 30,000 times, and we've seen countless examples during the first few months of this administration of him completely disregarding the law. During this entire administration, he has violated court orders from even the Supreme Court and has dared them to do something about it. This is how democracies die. Okay, so say he decides that he wants to implement this Hitlerian policy of his anyways. How does he do it, and how likely is it he gets away with it? Well, I'm no legal scholar, but there are two major ways the way I see it. This way would be to just continue his administration's policy of ignoring court orders. He continues defying court orders, escalating the situation little by little. And if the courts continue to do nothing, well, then slowly the orders he defies get bigger and bigger, until finally one day he gives the order. Maybe he orders police to start handing over people they detain to ICE, and they start shipping them off to Secot to await trial. But those trial dates come, and El Salvador refuses to send them back. Now, the Supreme Court orders that the prisoners be returned to stand trial, but the Trump administration shrugs its shoulders and says, sorry, they're in El Salvador now. What are we supposed to do? And when that happens, the Supreme Court decides that they can't do anything about it. And it will be at that moment when we realize that all of our institutions have completely and utterly failed us. The second option is a lot louder and a lot flashier. It's a declaration of martial law. Martial law essentially being the suspension of civilian government and replacement of it with a military one. All of your civil liberties are suspended for the purpose of national security. In American law, though, it's not really a clearly defined thing. But who can even invoke martial law? Well, gonna be honest, I did some research and nobody has any fucking clue. Go to the Department of Justice's website, it'll say the president has the power to declare it. Go to the Brennan Center for Justice, it says that nope, actually Congress only has the power to approve declarations of martial law. But guess what? It doesn't matter who can invoke it or not. If the President of the United States just decides to ignore whatever laws he doesn't like and nobody decides to stop him, then it doesn't matter what the Constitution says. What I can say for certain, however, is that we have now reached the Rubicon. We have started wading into the Rubicon, and if the Trump administration is allowed to get away with this, there won't be any turning back. When the first American citizens are forced through the doors of Sikat, we will be on the other side of it. There's a really good video on it from the All Right Playbook. When I looked into this camera and said that Trump wanted to be Hitler, I didn't say that as some sort of exaggeration or as some sort of own. I said that because it's the truth. You can look at how he idolizes dictators from other countries. You can look at how he poses for his portraits like other fascists. You can look at how he calls this a new golden age. You can even look at this hot mic video of him saying he wants 5 more prison camps just like Sikat for holding American citizens.
Homegrowns are next. The homegrowns built. You got to build about 5 more places.
Yeah, that's fair.
All right.
Don't ignore what's happening. Everyone wants to believe that we haven't crossed the Rubicon yet. No one wants to believe we have. Ignorance might be bliss now, but when it all hits you like a brick all at once out of nowhere, you're gonna wish you were paying attention. I don't like to end my videos on a bad note, so I will say this. We beat them once, we'll beat them again. If we do end up on the southern bank of that river, there will be unimaginable hardship. But when the smoke clears, we will have the opportunity to build something a hell of a lot better than what we have right now. You don't have to feel totally hopeless or like there is no future. There will be a future for us, just as long as we fight for it. So much for watching today's video. Special thanks to friend of the channel Samus for editing today's video. If you enjoyed the video, please consider subscribing, commenting, and leaving a like on today's video. It's extremely appreciated. Hope you all have a fantastic rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.